I'm Spencer Soysher outside of the South Bay Courthouse in Chula Vista, where a preliminary hearing was held today for former Teacher of the Year and elementary school teacher Jacqueline Ma. The detective outlined a pattern of how she believes Ma groomed children. The detective read aloud the screenshots in court.
Dondo 1, I love you, winky face. Jackie, I love you too, like I'm actually in love with you. Yellow heart emoji.
Ultimately, the judge ruled that there was, quote, overwhelming evidence in the case and bound her over on amended charges of forcible sex acts as opposed to non-forcible. She's due back in court later next month. Reporting in Chula Vista, I'm Spencer Soysher, ABC 10 News.
Let's dig into this case and learn what's going on here. Right after my overly obnoxious trigger warning. Roll the intro. Jacqueline Ma was 34 years old when she was arrested in 2023. She holds a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in teaching. I'm not certain when she obtained her bachelor's degree, but she obtained her master's degree in 2013. She obtained both degrees from the University of California at San Diego. She got her teacher certification and began teaching that same year. She was hired by National School District as a teacher in the Lincoln Acres Elementary School. Ma taught 5th and 6th grade at this school. Reports are not specific if she taught various grades in various years or if she taught science to both grade levels simultaneously. Ma was considered an exemplary teacher until her arrest. She was awarded a Teacher of the Year award for the 2022-2023 school year, one of only 6 teachers in all of San Diego County to get this award. The San Diego County Office for Education published a blurb about the award that in part reads, "She considers the relationship she maintains with her students her greatest accomplishments." Lincoln Acres principal was quoted as saying, "The creativity, initiative, collaboration, and 100% dedication Miss Ma has for her students and the school is immeasurable. When students leave Miss Ma's room, they are more confident students, more engaged citizens, and more thoughtful adolescents who know they are loved." After she received this award. Remember that Ma had been a teacher at the school for 9 years at this point in time. Then in March of 2023, one of her former students' parents contacted law enforcement and told them she suspected Ma was having an inappropriate relationship with her son. Let's discuss the initial report now. Let's recap that quickly. Ma was awarded the Teacher of the Year award for the 2022-2023 school year. Her principal spoke about the great relationships she maintains with her students, and then later that year she was arrested for engaging in inappropriate relationships with some of those students. Sometime before March 7, 2023, police received that call from a victim's mother. Obviously, this sparked an investigation. The investigation determined that no one except Ma had engaged in illegal behavior. Ma was arrested on March 7th. Ma is married. Details on when she got married or if the marriage is stable are unavailable. Police discovered love letters in Ma's classroom. Reports are not specific on if those letters were written to Ma, by Ma, or some combination of the two. Police also found text messages. Most of the texts had been deleted, but screenshots of them were stored in a hidden folder on Ma's phone for the police's convenience. You heard a detective read one of those exchanges in the introduction. In others, Ma expressed frustration that her victims were not responding quickly enough. Yes, that's right, a 34-year-old woman was getting upset with a 12-year-old boy because he was not responding to her texts quickly enough. When Ma was arrested, police found a photo of her victim in her wallet. She was also in possession of jewelry with the victim's initials on it. For reality check, here's a picture of a random 12-year-old boy. On March 8th, the bail hearing was held, and the judge granted bail with stipulations about her not having unsupervised contact with anyone under the age of 18, no contact with victims, their families, and no contact with anyone from the school. Ma made bail. At some point during the investigation, a second victim came forward with more allegations about Ma. In a text exchange, one of the victims complains that he doesn't think Ma understands that he is still a child and this is his only relationship. On March 9th, Ma was arrested on more charges, including contacting her victims in an attempt to dissuade them from testifying against her. At this point, Ma was held without bail. In total, Ma was charged with 13 offenses related to the sexual abuse of children that were in her care as a teacher. Ma pleaded not guilty to all charges, and a preliminary hearing was scheduled. At a preliminary hearing, prosecutors presented evidence that Ma had engaged in an inappropriate relationship with some of her students lasting several months, possibly over a year. During this relationship, Ma sent sexually explicit photos of herself to the victim. She also enticed the victim to respond with sexually explicit photos of himself. It was presented in court that these photos included images of the boy engaging in sexual activities. Prosecutors explained that the boy was not comfortable doing the things Ma asked him to do, and she coerced him into do it, including using her position as his teacher in a coercive manner. Details of that coercion are not available. Ma also expressed jealousy about the victim talking to other girls. How ridiculous is that? On at least one occasion, Ma held a private meeting in her classroom with one of the victims. When the victim arrived in the room, she locked the door and then removed her shirt. Do the classrooms in this school not have cameras in them? Some of those explicit photos were found on Ma's phone, which is why she was charged with possession of CSAM. The first person who testified against Ma at her preliminary hearing was one of her victims. The older victim who came forward was in Ma's 6th grade class in the 2021-2022 school year. The other victim was in Ma's 6th grade class in the 2022-2023 school year. It appears that a pattern is emerging where Ma selects one male student a year to engage in an inappropriate relationship with. I seriously wonder how long Ma has been doing this, and we will talk more about that later. During the victim's entire testimony, Ma sat at the defense table crying. This seems like a highly calculated and manipulative move by Ma, in my opinion. Ma had already pleaded not guilty to all charges, which the judge held over for trial. At the end of the preliminary hearing, Ma was facing 15 charges related to these incidents, with a total possible sentence of 180 years to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In February of 2025, there was a shocking change of course. Ma's trial was scheduled to begin in May of 2025. A pretrial hearing was held in February where it came to light that Ma and her defense team had been in a plea bargain negotiations with the prosecution team in the months since her preliminary hearing. At the hearing, a tearful Ma changed her plea to guilty on 4 of the charges, and the remaining charges were dropped. The charges she now pleads guilty to include 2 counts of lewd acts with a minor by force or fear and 2 counts of possession of CSAM. Deputy District Attorney Dave Hart is quoted as stating, "Obviously she's taken responsibility and not gone to trial. The consequences of trial would have been more significant. And with this resolution, we're sparing the victims from having to come in and testify in front of a jury. As a result of this plea deal, Ma's maximum sentence is now 30 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Her sentencing is scheduled for May of 2025. Hart also stated, "From our officer's perspective, it was very important that these be charged not just as sex offenses, but sex offenses done under duress. And that is what she pled to. We think this plea deal sends a message to the community, not just about sex offenses on children, but when you leverage a position of trust, when you leverage good faith with parents in the community, and you do this to their children, there will be significant penalties to pay." Let's wrap this video up, shall we? This is the 5th case we've looked at on this channel involving teachers preying on their students. In every single one of those cases, the teachers began preying on their students within 1 year of obtaining employment as a teacher. In this case, Ma was teaching for 9 years before any allegations were launched against her. Am I the only one who thinks there might be several victims out there who have yet to come forward? Also, in most of those cases, the teacher was known to have contact with students outside of school. In this case, Ma would attend sport meets that her students were participating in. While there exists no magic bullet that will stop children from being preyed upon by people they are supposed to trust, there may be a way to mitigate the vast majority of these attacks. In many cases, children are unaware of what coercive behavior is. The children simply do not understand that things which could be perfectly normal from someone their own age and incredibly inappropriate from an adult. This includes not only the sexual misconduct, but things seemingly as innocent as having text conversations and expressing jealousy. There is absolutely zero reason for a teacher to be directly contacting a student outside of the school. In the rare event that a teacher does need to inform a student of something or vice versa, that communication should go through the parents. Problem is, no one is educating these students on what is and is not appropriate behavior from their teachers and other adults in their lives. Which is why in the last year alone there have been over 300 allegations of inappropriate behavior between school employees and students in the Chicago area. Do you want to see a video on that? Let me know in a comment. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, super thanks and channel memberships are super cool. And now, I got a jam, so tag You Are It. Then in March of 2023, one of her former students' parents contacted law enforcement and told them she suspected Ma was having an inappropriate relationship with her to On March 8th, a bail hearing was held for Ma. The judge granted bail with stipulations about her not contacting former students, not contacting anyone involved with the case or from the school, At her preliminary hearing, prosecutors presented evidence that Ma had engaged in a preliminary... At the end of the